Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas, where today we are playing Captain's Log, Star Trek Adventures for the solo player. So we're packing up everything to put into the move cube, and well, not yet, but we're getting it prepped. Basically, we're selling loads of Ivar. I was thinking, at the end of some of these runs, before I stick stuff in boxes, if any of you lot, particularly if you're in Australia, want any of the stuff that I might have put up, you can have it. If you pay for postage, you can have it. So the Lancer models, the stuff that I've 3D printed and done for Lancer, I don't know if I'm going to ship them, and so if you want them, you can have them. I ain't paying for postage, and it might be expensive at the moment. Anyway, I found this in the back of a wardrobe. It was in a frame. I used to wear this t-shirt all the time, and so mine alive, it was mouldy. I gave it a soak and I put it on a mega hot wash, and it survived. So who would have known? Who would have thought it? Anyway, Captain's Log. So we are beginning our second story, our second second story, adventure, where we are trying. We have been sent. We've been Let's do that. I'll do the opening Captain's Log because 5007.2, Captain Matane of the USS Rumta. We were en route to assist the USS Matrix, a top-of-the-line class ship, who had suffered some problems. But we've now been told that we've been sent to the outer edge. I'm going to read it off of this, what I wrote last week. Sent to the outer edge of the Alpha Quadrant to help secure an ancient ship from who knows where for the Federation. We're to participate in various different debates and discussions and possibly examine the ship. This is great, but the USS Matrix needed our help. So we're going to bang this one out and then get back to doing the cool stuff and crawling through the Jeffries tubes of that massive ship. Basically, that's it. We're on our way to assist the USS Matrix, which is a top-of-the-line battleship. I haven't looked and seen what one it is. Imagine one. It's that one. And we are quite excited because their warp core had failed and they're stuck on impulse in the middle of somewhere, and we were going to go and assist them be the heroes. But we were then sent instead to the outer edge of the Alpha Quadrant, where a massive space hulk has been discovered, which has come from somewhere that they don't know. It has interesting engines, interesting signals. Loads of parties have appeared all at once. So you've got all of the standard crew, the Vulcans, the Romulans, and the Klingons, and a variety of different other uns. And they've all turned up, and they're all basically debating how that should be for them to investigate. Why does the Federation get it? The Federation has sent the Rumta because of Matane, who is good, who's an expert, particularly at ancient technology, but also warp core engines, with the hope that he can then argue the case, because he also has negotiation and debating skills. He can argue the case for the Federation to get hold of this ship and the technology within the ship, and that it would be safer for this quadrant if that is the case. Now, we decided that it came from the Delta Quadrant. Now, in the 5000s, i.e. the original series, the Delta Quadrant isn't known about. The Alpha Quadrant is known about, and bits of the Beta Quadrant are known about, but the rest isn't known that it exists at this point. Of course, there's other bits of space is infinitely big, so there's going to be something somewhere, but they don't know that the Delta Quadrant is a thing. So everything in the Delta Quadrant isn't known about, and that's where this is from. So we would then we will open up, and we now have to try and work out how to do this again, which is we've had a little bit of a discussion about this on a couple of weeks back for you, or this week for me. Captain's Log is a weird little one, really. It's quite fun, but it's just a Rory story cubes. It seems like it's purely narrative. I don't know if there's any way to fail, but then again, does anyone, very rarely do people die. I mean, that character died in Next Generation, the security officer, but they were leaving anyway. There was a reason why they were sacked or something, wasn't there? They left for some reason, and it wasn't like a story choice. It was more of an actor choice. Beyond that, no one carks it, do they? So anyway, we rock up, and first off, so there's this massive, huge, ancient-looking ship It's not like anything we've seen before. It's like the Warhammer Space Hulk. It's the Derelict from Orkborg. It's a mishmash of all sorts of things, and it's huge. So Act 1 is us coming out of Warp. There's loads of other types of ships from different peoples all the way around the outsides of it. Everyone is sort of like, there's a bit of a standoff going, and we would come in and we would be communicated. Should we be communicated first, or should the Rumta do a scan of this thing to see if it can find any information? I reckon let's do a scan first. We're going to say it's, what is it called? It's like a difficult where you have to get both successes. You have to get both as a success, otherwise it's a failure. I can't remember what that is, but we're going to do it as that. So we need both of these to succeed, otherwise we can't do a scan. So we're going to turn up. We have got focus of scanner operations, which is what River Matane has. Our ship has got an advanced sensor suite. So I reckon we're going to utilise the advanced sensor suite. We have sensors of a 7 and we have science of a 3. That gives us a 10. Now if we roll below 7 on, is it both the dice? If we roll below 7, we get an advantage. So we whack out of warp. We jolt, come in. Once all the sensors, we do a scan of the area. We see all these little ships. We begin to be hailed, but before Rumta responds, before Matane responds to the hail, he goes, yeah. I know we're being hailed, but what's that? What's that massive thing? Run a scan on that, and then who was it? Who was our signals? Someone was our signals, wasn't it? It was from memory. It was our Inuit signals person, Siku, Lieutenant Siku. It's communications. I still haven't written this stuff down. Lieutenant Siku, hold them off for a second. I want a scan of that. Science Officer Relic, do a scan of that. And so then we've got the sensors of 7, science of a 3. We call that a 9, a 9 and a 6. There we go. That's 2 successes. It also gives us an advantage. The 6. Oh no, they both have to roll under the 7, don't they, to get the advantage? But that is a momentum. So we do get a momentum out of that because it's a double success, I think. So we get a scan back. What do we find on the scan? Let us use our brand spanking new verby nouny thing. Let's use our, which I called a Space Navy verb table, because I can't do stuff for the Star Trek either. I can't publish stuff for Star Trek because of course it's a thingy. So 2d20, adding them up is what the table is. So we've got 24, infiltrate. We've got the word infiltrate, and we got 30, infiltrate and patch. All right, so I am going to say that our scan, so we've got infiltrate and patch. Let's say our first scene is a success, and we've done a scan, and our scan doesn't come back with anything from the inside because that would be a bit boring at this point, but we do see that some race is trying to get in from the far side. So we're basically going to rock up and say almost instantly, could like a wide beam broadcast, could such and such pull back from the vehicle, the vessel, please? And then we will respond to our howl. Let's just roll a race from the Next Generation. No, from the original series. An original series race. Hold on. I need to find the table. This book is so full. Here we go. Original series species. We've got a 9. Endoson. Endoson? Endoson. Please could the Endoson, I don't know what, I don't know anything. If you know anything about them, you can put it down, which somebody probably does. I don't. Are they shifty? What's a shifty one? Oh, we'll call them the Endosin. So the Endosin are attempting to sneak in. They're small species, I don't know. And they're attempting to sneak into the side. So we call down, we basically do a wide broadcast. Could they move away from the vessel, do you think? Move away from the vessel? Just sort of back away from the vessel? It's got a funny old look like you're trying to patch your way through the vessel's hull where you are. Just move away from the vessel. We don't know what's going on inside. Now, what we do know is that this has got something to do with crew members going insane. So maybe we're going to do, let's go, what can we do for that? I want a chance that these people are going to get themselves infected. So we'll use the yes, no, and let's see if these people get themselves infected. I think I'll mark this with this one. Here we go, yes. I think it is, at the moment, somewhat improbable that they get themselves infected. 5. That's a yes. 1 to 7 is somewhat improbable. Yes. So yes. So they are. They've got close enough that they crack the hull and have become infected by whatever this thing is, which I think I said has something to do with the warp engines. They pushed the warp engines too far. Or the way they warped through space. Maybe it's the beginning of the Borg, whatever that warp tube thing, so they can travel faster. They crack the hull and are infected. So we can have slightly later on down the line that they go insane on that ship and something goes bad and then we need to work out. So that's that scene. We're on the bridge. Now we need to cut to a different scene so we'll close that scene with Matane responding to a senior officer who is at the moment trying to do negotiations, and so Matane is going to have to. Matane responds to the hail, comes on the big screen. It's a really angry looking Admiral of the Fleet. What are you doing? Doing a wide broadcast to everyone and embarrassing the Endosin like that? Matane goes, they were cracking their way through the hull. We scanned them. They were basically drifting around on the outside in like a semi-cloak or whatever they were doing. And we just wanted them not to be there. So what is this thing you found? Well, sir, as you should be calling me. So let's go. So let's give Matane. Matane means immediately in Dutch. Let's give Matane, so we've got control. Maybe we'll do a control and command for Matane to see if he can. I don't know if control would work, but command is a 3, control is an 8. He does have negotiations, but he's not really trying to negotiate. He's a bit peeved. We've got a natural 20, which is threat. That means we get a threat, and an 18. So it's a failure and a threat. So we could roll on the threat table and see what that threat manifests itself as. And that's a failed scene then. This will have a scene 2, which is the conversation between the two of them. Matane is obviously getting a bit too brazen and really annoying this Admiral. And I have watched more Lower Decks, not a lot more. We got into Line of Duty all of a sudden. I've never really watched it, but I was saying to Mandy, you know, it's apparently it's got really good ratings, and you know, there's 6 seasons of it. It's not old, but it's been around. And we got into it. It's really quite good. Right, create a complication with threat matrix on 278 or increase difficulty. Let's roll on 278 and create a complication, which goes along the lines of Matane being a bit cocky. Matane does have, don't forget you can talk it through, because he's not much of a talker, he's more of a doer. So let's generate some threat, D20, 19, systems failure. Well, that might work. Systems failure, unexpected technical difficulty aboard your ship or starburst correct. All right, what have we got as a systems failure? A 19, weapons, that doesn't really help us very much. A 3, engines. Our engines. Oh, maybe it's something from that ship. Maybe that ship is sort of affecting people's engines. and we notice it first. Okay, engines fail. So scene 2 is a failure, which is the conversation, and the outcome of scene 2 is the Rumta's engines begin to fail. Or we're starting to, we're detecting some resonance problems. Some resonance issues from, we're picking up some resonance issues from the crystals. And that is causing our engineer, who was Sue, wasn't it? Our engineer was Sue, if I remember rightly. Yep, our engineer Sue. Who was Lieutenant McLeod? Scottish pilot. And then we had Tintin was the co-pilot, and Sue is our engineer. So Sue communicates with Matane, whilst Matane is with the general, with the admiral. Matane goes, hold on, someone from engineering needs to talk to me. Just hold on there, Admiral. Which annoys the Admiral even more that he's being put on hold for engineering. Where Sue will tell Matane about the engines, and Matane is going to talk over the Admiral and say, look, I know this is, you're saying that this has got weird warp cores, so you've done some form of deep scans or someone's gone on board. Is anyone else having issues with their engines? Could we do a wide, just ask people to check their engines? And the Admiral's going to be a bit peeved by this, and then tell Matane that he needs to get his ass over to his ship to participate in this discussion with the heads of all these other things on a round table. Matane's going to go, oh, okay, and cut the call. We could have him. So basically, he would take Officer Relic, wouldn't he? Who is the science officer. So he and Relic would go over, but we wouldn't need to bother about all that. We can have the next scene is them teleporting, appearing in the transporter room and being greeted by the Admiral's aide, who would be saying, oh, he's not very happy. He's not very happy. Well, I need to take you straight to the conference room. There, it's very heated, and we will then have cut to the conference. So this is scene 3 of Act 1. So what we need, so I reckon what we need at the end of this act is to probably, maybe at the end of this act, the Anderson, they're going to go mental and crash their ship in, or either they're going to go, their ship is going to, maybe their delegate is going to start acting weird and go back, and then their ship is going to go quiet, and that's when we're going to find out that something they got. Oh, they're going to communicate. Yeah, okay. We'll see if they communicate and say that something has infected their ship. So we've got our engines are a bit knackered. All right. So we come into this conference room, and it's all heated discussions. One, which is the Anderson representative, is acting very irately, and he's looking really angry. So we have the Matane is going to see that they've got all sort of information up on walls and scans. They're all sort of arguing. Matane and Relic step in, and they look at each other like, whoa. Matane is going to look at the stuff on the walls and see if he can assess what this is and see if he can gather. We've got a momentum, so we could burn that. Let's burn the momentum and create a story moment. And the story is just going to focus on Matane looking at the diagrams. He's going to walk up to a few, like look pensive and as though, okay. And then as they're all arguing, and he is going to say, there's something weird about, he's going to say in a sort of a medium tone voice, as he's looking, there's something weird about the energies coming off that engine. Or coming off, even though their engine is dead, there's something weird about the energy coming off of it that I don't like. And really he's going to say, pardon, Captain. And then Matane will say it louder to the rest of the room, as though they all should be listening because it's the most important thing. Which we will give him presence of a 10 and command of a 3, which is 13. I still don't think this is negotiations yet, but we can do pride. So he's proud. So we've got proud to be a colony Martian. So he's proud of who he is. So we could use that as a value, but I don't know if that's how that works. So it's a 13s he's got at the moment. A 10 and an 8, which is a success. And so we will have this scene, because we've got that opening to the scene. And then the rest of this scene is going to be him basically, we will burn the momentum straight away to allow him to just control this discussion. He is going to dissect the different types of scans that the Federation is openly saying they've done. And he is going to be talking. We'll have a few exchanges happening with him and some of the other delegates. And their science officers are going to get... So the delegates have brought their science... Yeah, that works, doesn't it? The delegates have brought their science officers with them, who are quite... Who after Matane starts speaking, they all go, ooh! It's very much... very much when you get a lot of those sort of engineers together, and they all start talking about a problem, and they're all like, oh, yeah, I noticed this. And that sort of... So with that momentum, so Matane is going to start doing that. And then everyone is going to move over. All of the technical people move over to where Matane is, and they all stand around. And we've got the cameras focusing on this discussion from all these people from different places, all talking about this and saying there's something weird going on. As the Endorian dude, we'll have that as a focus point. As the Endorian dude is going to get really angry because he's going to start going crazy. Let's have his eyes. Let's have his eyes go red, and his technical bloke, his aide, is the only one who hasn't gone up to the discussion and has stayed sitting at the table, and he's looking quite sweaty and uncomfortable. The Endorian is going to slam his fist on the table. We will use our ships. It's got weapons and security to take into account the security on the Admiral ship, and if they can remove this guy who goes a bit chaotic. No, we'll just have him. He acts. We'll do it as a first introductory scene that something weird has gone on. So we've talked about the signals, and then to cap off that bit, the Endorian is gonna. So to end this scene of discussing the technical stuff. So we know something weird is going on with the signals, which is then getting us closer to the fact that we're going to say we need to go on board and actually see what's happening, which then means that some of our people can start to go, yes, our away team can start to go, which can be a mix of people from the different delegates, can go mental in scene 2. So Act 2 can be an away team. Yeah, Act 2 can be an away team mission. And so we will have the Endorian rep starts to act a bit chaotic, slams his fist on the table and says, this is just nonsense, I'm not putting up with this, we're going back to our ship. And they storm out, and then we'll have a discussion. Then we'll do, Matane is going to now step back to the table. Everyone's going to look a bit peeved. He's just going to brush over it. They'll step back to the table, and Matane is going to attempt to do a negotiation to get an away team together of the representatives from each of the people who've turned up to then go on board this weird ship and run some scans to see actually what's going on, and then we can have them going mental whilst they're over there. So he needs to do a negotiation roll. So he's got this is negotiations. We're going to use his presence, and he's going to use engineering to argue, which is a 15, so we should definitely be able to get below, so what's that, negotiations below a 10. So if we get both below a 10, is it both or one below a 10? A 1 and a 3. All right, so that's a fantastic roll. So Matane is eloquent. Matane, that was definitely a success. Brushes over the fact that the Endorians want nothing to do with it anymore, and is able to put together, get everyone to agree that definitely they need to go on board and find out what's going on. if the signals are bad, and this is where people are going to start, some people are going to turn, and we're going to have the acknowledgement that people's engines are starting to falter. So we know that it's affecting engines, and we're also going to have, not yet, I think after the negotiation, we would then have the final one. We would end Act 1 with the Andorian ship going dark, or maybe blowing up. I don't know why it would blow up. There's something to do with the engines. Oh, it blows up and they think it's to do with the engines, but actually there's some weird signals, there's some weird communications coming off the ship, which sound very erratic. And so we'll have them getting ready. So we'll have Matane and the away team kitting up. So Matane stands there. I believe that the only way we can do this is to work together. The only way that we can get this information to be able to understand what's going on from the ship and where it's come from is to go aboard. But I don't think we can do it ourselves. After the discussion I just had with all of the technical representatives from each of our people, I believe we can only do this working together. He's going to then point at like the Vulcan and say, this person has got the expertise in this. And then the Klingon, this person, if we've got any problems on board to do with their engines filtering or their photons, torpedoes, and if it's anything to do with their weapon systems, then officer such and such will know. The Romulan, if they've got problems, if it's to do with their shielding or their cloaking, he will know. We have this expertise here. We very rarely have a team together like this. We all need to be able to go aboard and be able to use our expertise to work together to find out what has come into our sector of space, where this has come from, and what's going on. Why are our engines then signals? Why are our engines being affected? What is doing that? And then because we've got the success, that's the success. The away team is agreed upon. Everyone says that they'll work together and the away team will happen. Next scene, which will be our final scene, which I don't think we'll roll for. We'll just call that a scene, which will be our 5 scenes of Act 1. So that would then have that they're in like an antechamber. They're all getting kitted up before going to a shuttle. Because they're not going to beam aboard because of the waves. They can't beam aboard, so that's one of the things that they can't beam aboard, because that then I prefer the scene of them all standing there getting suits on than them beaming aboard, so they can go across on a shuttle. So they're all, did they ever do that in the original series? Did they do the beaming because they then didn't need to do special effects to have a shuttle? Because it's only later on I remember seeing shuttles. I don't know. Maybe they did that. Maybe they just had the teleporters because it's easier than building a massive model of a shuttle. Does anyone know? Is that why it is? And so we will have them all getting like environmental suits on, special protective environmental suits, and they are getting kitted up as the signal comes through, as someone comes through to tell them that to be careful because something's happened to the Andorian craft. It's gone quiet, and then this is our last transmission, and they play through to everyone who's on the away team, comes through their earpieces, chaotic shouting, and something's wrong, and then there's no signal, and then we see all of a sudden there's an explosion which we don't see in the ship, and that wouldn't rock them because of space. But then they're told the Andorian ship has blown up, something is wrong, and they say it's very important we get aboard the ship. And that's where we would close the episode with that cliffhanger, like what's on board the ship, what's going on. For Act 1 of Dead in the Water from Delta. And so our next one, which will be Act 2, the away team goes aboard. And then Act 3, we can try and work out what is going on and try and resolve the issue. And that's it. That is Star Trek Captain's Log. It's Rory's Story Cubes, which is quite fun. It's a bit challenging. It was like Good Society. It's challenging because you're not relying upon lots of tables. You're relying on yourself. It's really cool. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, do consider subscribing. You can see more of my old t-shirts. We can't really because this is the last one. It's going to go in a box soon. Thank you so much to the Adventurers Guild for all of your support in producing these videos. I'm approaching, I believe, this Saturday, the 26th of July, that's going to be my 2-year anniversary of doing this. That's pretty cool. Of deciding, instead of just talking to a room, I'll talk to a camera, and then thinking, well, I'm filming it anyway, I might as well put it up online. But yeah, thank you so much for all your support over the last 2 years. I'll say it on Saturday for the Rifts game, but thank you. I very much appreciate it. Here's to another year's worth of the stories, and I hope you're enjoying your stories too. See ya.